Internet? This is 3G Geek, and today I'm actually going to be talking about the latest, potentially greatest Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the reboot that just came out of the original Modern Warfare franchise. And with that being said, so this is just going to be a review of the campaign itself, not of the multiplayer. I have not played enough of that yet, and plus that's just going to take a while to actually develop anyway, because the first week or so it could be one thing, the next week it could be different, and it could just keep changing and morphing into something different and or better and or worse. So we'll just have to wait on the multiplayer itself. But this is strictly about the campaign for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Also, before we even get into the actual review itself, one thing that I really do want to say that just kind of bugs me is the day one patch. Now, I understand that there has to be tweaks and all that kind of stuff, but how can there be a 56 some gigabyte patch on the first day when I first pop the game into the console? Like, I don't understand why that is always a thing. And again, I get it, it's annoying, but whatever. But also, on top of that, I couldn't even access any parts of the game without this update. Like, I couldn't even play the campaign because it needed some sort of network update, and that update was somewhere within the large update that was downloading. So once I got the game and finally popped it in, I was like, oh good, now I get to at least start the campaign. Nope, you don't get to start anything. You just have to sit there and wait for the 4 hours for the whole thing to download and eventually install. But I'm not happy about it. I also hate to just accept it as a thing, but I don't know. It's just kind of there. It annoys the hell out of me. I wish companies would stop doing that. But that is not the main point of this video. The main point is the campaign. So I'm going to start off with the cons, and that list isn't necessarily bad. Well, it is the cons, so I guess we'll just jump into it from here. So with the cons, the first thing that I had to say is the length. I think the length of it was only about 6 hours, and that was even for me, and I died a lot. I can't say if I'm really all that good at the campaign or not. I also tend to charge face first into gunfire for little to no reason. I can't explain it, but that's just how I play. So, it's a bit short, I felt, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. And I'll get into why I'm okay with it later. The next thing is the story. Now, it wasn't really anything earth-shattering, and it wasn't the greatest story. It was kind of standard Call of Duty. The premise behind it was okay, but again, just someone's trying to take over the world or take over a certain section of the world, and your job is to stop it through various means and ways and just all that stuff. So it's just kind of standard, nothing too drastic there. The last thing that I hate to just accept it as a thing, but the AI of your teammates really just kind of sucks. Most of the time they were just standing there looking around at something and vaguely shooting while I'm getting shot in the face by 3 or 4 enemies at a time. There were multiple times where this happened, and again, they're standing around doing nothing. I can't believe after all these years they have not fixed that problem. Come on, help me out a little bit. So, that's just a minor complaint. And all the cons that I really have to say are really just kind of reoccurring themes in Call of Duty. It's not like any Call of Duty campaign was particularly long. It's not like any of the stories were particularly good, except for maybe Black Ops, but that's a whole other story. And again, the AI has always been just kind of meh, and I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's standard Call of Duty, and as I've said, it's just something that I kind of really hate to accept, but it's just a thing that we have to live with. But anyway, moving on to the actual good stuff. So, what I actually loved about the campaign was Price, the guy from all the Modern Warfares. He is just an amazing character, and he comes back with the same charm, the same kind of blunt realism that he seems to have in all of the games. I just love him and everything about it. I'm glad that they brought him back and worked him into the story again. The next thing is actually one of the best parts of the whole campaign is actually all the different scenarios that you went through. Now, yes, there were multiple things going on, and there were just kind of the standard story, whatever. But what you actually did in the different scenarios was very different, and there was a wide variety of things that you did. So granted, yeah, a lot of shooting, all that standard stuff. But in different sections, there was a part where you had to clear out a house in London, or a flat, if you want to call it that, where you had to work through the 3 stories of the building and clear out each room. And it was pitch black, no music, just you could just hear the footsteps, people talking elsewhere in the house, and you had to figure out who were friendlies and who were enemies. There were 2 different sequences like that, and both times they were just an amazing, very different feeling from anything else in the campaign. There was even a section where, using cameras, I had to navigate someone else through an embassy that was overtaken by rebels or whomever they were, and I had to tell her, oh, go hide in that cubicle, go hide in the next cubicle, or just, and I was navigating cameras while I was telling her to move when and where, and so it was just a very fascinating sequence of events. There was even another one where they've had these stealth missions before, but it was just you with Price overwatching you, and you had to navigate to 3 different buildings, all in stealth, or you could go loud if you wanted to, and there was even the option to run and hide from there. But it was just all these different scenarios, not the typical kind of just like always run and gun and shooting everyone kind of thing. There were definitely sections where it slowed down, more deliberate, more stealth. Your decisions had a drastic impact on what happened, and all that good stuff. So I really loved the different scenarios that you had to work through. And there's a couple more things, but the last main thing that I want to focus on is the edginess of the campaign. I think they did it right this time. It painted war in a different picture than what I think has previously been shown in Call of Duty game. It wasn't a simple black and white kind of issue. It was like, oh, good guy, bad guy. There was I guess I don't know how to describe it. It was just edgy. There was a lot of shock stuff in there. There was a lot of stuff that just kind of made you think, and it was just kind of like, is this? It kind of showed war and conflicts in a different light than the typical Call of Duty game, as I mentioned, not so black and white as it has been in the past. But it's really just something that if you're interested in it, I would definitely go and explore it yourself, or just go watch it on YouTube and get the feeling for the edginess firsthand. And the last thing, it's kind of 3 different things, but it all kind of couples into one. The visuals, the sounds, and the overall feel of the game. And they're all kind of wrapped up into one package because it's nothing drastically new, but it all couples together for a wonderful presentation and a wonderful game, and it just meshes very well. So as I mentioned earlier, there were different scenarios where you had to infiltrate a house and just clear out the floor, the house floor by floor, going all the way up to the top. And the feel of that was very eerie, everything was very quiet, and in that particular instance there was no music. It was just the sounds in the game. So your footsteps, you could hear people talking, and every time you fired or someone else fired, the shot would just ring out from just the general stillness. And when you did take down a enemy, you would hear the shot ring out, and then you would just hear the drop of the body hitting the floor. And it was a very unique experience, and I think all of those combined, along with the fantastic visuals and all that stuff, really just made for some really, really solid gameplay.
Roger, moving.
Floor secure.
Right at the stairs. Bravo 6 taking the third floor. Check your shots.
Hands up, now! Secure. Shut the kid up.
X-ray down. Target behind the door.
So overall, I really have to say that I really did enjoy the campaign. I definitely recommend you going through it if you never have. If you're the type of person that jumps right into the multiplayer, I would definitely recommend not necessarily taking a step back, but giving the campaign a try. It is definitely something that has to be experienced, and I think this is a good campaign this time around. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I haven't really played multiplayer enough, and I'm sure that's just going to develop and evolve as the weeks go on, because it's only been like 4 days at this point, so we really can't tell how the multiplayer is, and plus I've just been working my way through the campaign. Besides the point, so that review will be coming out shortly, so to make sure that you see it, remember to hit that subscribe button, and also remember to ring that little bell so you know when I post new videos or when I stream or anything like that. If you have any comments, questions about the campaign itself, or just kind of about the game in general, I'll try to answer it as best I can, so hit me up down in the comment section below, and we can talk about it down there and all that good stuff. And also, hitting the like button really helps me out. It determines what you guys like and don't like, and hopefully I can make more videos of what you guys do like. And also remember to follow me on different social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It'll either be my face or the 3G Geek logo. Feel free to follow, like, comment, subscribe, hit me up with any questions, comments, or just say hey or anything like that on those platforms as well. And with all that being said, this is 3G Geek, signing off.